consent docket, deciding whether or not these things are in line with the will of our voters. Like, you just described our job and just said people are supposed to be doing it.
No, I said the people would have to
It's,
do it.
no, they wouldn't have to do it. That's our job, to read through the consent docket. To read through every time, to look at the audit, that is our job.
We're not gonna
That's what
pull
we're
anything
elected to
unless we
do.
disagree with it though, are we, Aaron?
What's that?
We're not gonna pull anything from the consent docket unless we disagree or want to debate it. So we could slide through on the consent docket just like almost every item did tonight, and nobody would be any the wiser. Unless these folks take it upon themselves to go out and download it and try to read through it. And when there's 500 pages in the packet, folks, it'll take you a couple of days, okay? Prep time to get here tonight is not easy.
It's also, but you can also read through the docket and you can also pull those things out. So if you have a concern with the audit, as a city council member, you can bring those things up in public so that everybody can know. That's what we were elected to do. So the thing is,
We were elected to represent and preserve the liberty of the people as well.
I have a city attorney, we have a DA, and we have a U.S. attorney that is all stated differently than what you stated.
Well, the federal judge is on our side doing this, so I think I'm gonna defer to the guy who's at the appeal court level, who would potentially rule on the lawsuit that would come soon after. But here's what we're talking about. I know that there is a rumor that this is being driven by a vocal group who may not be in touch with the constituency. And that there was a desire to understand whether or not that this group was actually the majority or just a vocal minority. That group, unless I'm very much mistaken, that is being referred to in that rumor, is the Washington County Republican Party that represents 67% of Bartlesville voters.
That's right.
67%, 2/3 of your city. And we're gonna fight for your liberty even if you hate us while we do it.
Censure.
so,
Mr. Sherrick, you're a member of that organization, correct?
Yes, sir. I am the precinct chairman for Precinct 54, and I am also a member of the executive committee, which is strictly an advisory committee to the county committee.
You furnished this council in January with a resolution against lock cameras then also, didn't you?
No, sir, that was another speaker.
Washington County did.
Well, the Washington County Republican Party most certainly did, yes.
And then your group is also considering a censure of any elected official that would vote against lock cameras. Is that correct?
No, they would be, they are actually committed to censure anyone who votes in favor of keeping lock
Keeping lock cameras, thank you. Very good. So that, to me, that's a conflict of interest for me. So,
No, I don't think so.
you can certainly.
And let me explain what a nonpartisan
Let me
member
finish this.
actually works like.
The mayor's talking.
Just a minute. Please, bring
Sure.
your point. You've represented that from day one, that you're a member of that committee. That's been part of your campaign, that's been part of what you represent. And so in this particular instance, with the way your resolutions come forward, and the fact that you've written it with an outside attorney and not involved our attorney, this council been noticed by this particular group that you mentioned as a resolution of not supporting block cameras, and then an opportunity to censure anyone that does keep block cameras in place. That puts you, in, to me, a conflict of interest. And if I supported your position, as you stated today, for a amendment to the charter, I would not support it on that basis alone. Furthermore, I don't support it because I was elected as a representative of this community to represent them. So I would vote on that rather than defer that to the public, because then if we voted against the public and they wanted to do it under Chapter 7, our city charter, Article 7, they have the ability to go out and have a citizens initiative petition and conduct that vote themselves.
Sure.
So I certainly support block cameras. I support it as written today. I appreciate all the efforts that Mr. Patrick has put into it. I certainly appreciate Mr. East's attempt to look at ways to modify it. But I support block cameras as they are installed today.
Well, let me ask you something, Mr. Curtis. Are you a Christian?
I'm
Oh,
No, listen to me. What
Resign.
I'm saying is, if you are a Christian and you come in here and you subscribe to a biblical worldview, you could be perceived as someone who may discriminate against certain groups in our community.
Christian nationalist.
Seriously.
Seriously.
So that is another perspective that could, perhaps, they could say, well, you're just a Christian, so you're against us, right? You hate us because we're different. You hate us because we look different, or you think that we're going to do things because we are different. That could be a perspective, and I've actually heard that presented in this room. That's not an outrageous proposition, that having any particular perspective could be perceived under certain circumstances as a conflict of interest in that light. However, we don't check our values at the door. That's why I put Republican on the sign, guys. It lets you know, just like on if it says gluten-free on a package, what's inside. What are you getting if you vote for Tim? Tim was very clear. I was the only guy at the table, in fact, at the Arvest forum that said, you can have a drag show. There just need to be some guardrails around it. That's all. I am not going to try to infringe upon your personal freedoms. I'm going to fight to protect them. I don't understand how anybody, particularly another Republican, could say that I have a conflict of interest as it relates to this when it is actually a constitutional question. You should be much more well-versed, perhaps, on the Constitution than many. I have, however, noted that you choose not to participate in any of the county committee gatherings.
I do not, and I'm not beholden to any party in this city.
Neither am I.
I'm bipartisan. You are a member of a political organization. And this is a
and so are
bipartisan
you.
council. No, I'm a Republican member, but I do not participate. I'm not taking the party. I'm a registered Republican, that's all. It has nothing to do with the way I've governed
Well, that's
for the last
good.
8 years of this country. And it will not have any effect on how I continue to govern from this point
Doesn't
forward.
impact how I'm governing either, except
If
for
you're
the
gonna
fact
judge
that I'm
me
for the
as a
liberty of the
Republican,
people.
go ahead, but I'm not beholden to your party or your group or the Democratic Party or anybody else. I'm beholden to every citizen in this community that I've represented for the last 8 years.
Do you know how nonpartisan works in this context?
I do not need an education.
I don't know. That's the
Okay, well, a
gentleman
lot
over
of the
there.
people that contact me say, well, you should be nonpartisan. And what that does
Cross-links
is it
are-
allows anybody to run for one of these seats, Libertarian, Independent, Aaron is an Independent, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. And because it's nonpartisan in the election process, it eliminates the primaries, which means that everybody in the city of Bartlesville gets to participate. But if you vote with someone with a certain set of values, you shouldn't be surprised when they get to the council. and
Oh,
vote.
there's the judging.
I don't think that the issue that the mayor is raising is that you have a specific set of political values or political platform.
No, he's condemning my political participation based
I
on my
think the
values.
concern is that the group which you are an elected member of has said they will punish you if you don't vote the way they have told you to vote.
No.
Now, you can still vote however you want. I personally don't care. I'm not a part of that group or any other, as you pointed out. I don't care. But the point is, when you have a group of people who say, if you don't do the way that we want, then we will have a challenge. That can be.
This is
that's a
not
challenge.
solving the issue.
Right.
Mr. Sherrick, you've made a motion. You've read your amendment tonight. Is that something you'd like to put forward in a motion?
Let the people vote.
Absolutely. I move that the resolution to move the question of whether or not Bartlesville continues to use flock according to the amendment